Hello, this is Module 3, Lesson 1 of the Scratch Computer Science 20S course. Okay, moving into Module 3 now, things are going to get a fair bit more complicated. We're going to actually get into some sort of game design at this point now. I've given you lots of different skills to do with Scratch, and now we're going to sort of put them together and create a bit of a game. We talked about definite loops before. A definite loop is one where you know exactly how many times it's going to repeat. The repeat is Scratch's version of the definite loop. An indefinite loop is one where we do not know how many times to loop in advance. We're going to loop until something happens, okay? So definite loops are things like forever and repeat a certain number of times. So those ones are our definite loops. The indefinite loop that works in Scratch is the repeat until, okay? So this might keep looping until maybe a shot is made, a ball is hit, some certain condition is met. We're going to keep looping until something happens. And you'll notice that there's a hole here in the block, and it has a certain shape. The shape of the hole in the block is that hexagon, and only a hexagon-shaped block can fit in there, and that's all of the green ones and several of the blue ones here under the Sensing tab. Okay, so only certain ones will fit in there. Okay, so let's begin our game. Let's make a sprite that moves left, right, up, and down based on arrow clicks, and we've done this before. And then you're going to get a chance to make some new sprites that will make the cat face the right way. So pause the video and go ahead and do this. All right, I hope you have your scripts set up there. I've got mine set up, and my cat will move up and down and right and left. Let's see what's next. I'd like you to make a new sprite, a black ball that Scratch has to chase and catch. And here's the script that goes with the black ball. I'd like you to start it at a position of 0 minus 100, and it moves left and right by a random number of steps. So we're just going to move it left and right for the time being. So this is the code that I'd like you to set up. Make a new sprite and set up that bit of code. Pause the video. Okay, if you weren't sure how to do that, let's just make my black ball here. Okay, and then I'm going to, you'll notice that I've got a new script area here. My green flag is clicked. I'm going to move to a position of 0 and minus 100. And I'm going to repeat this 100 times. And I'm going to have the ball move. And inside there, I'm going to go to my operators, and I'm going to pick a random number between minus 40 and 40. Okay, I'm going to move Scratch out of the way there. And you'll notice that when I run it, the ball moves back and forth, left and right, okay? And it's doing that 100 times. And I'm going to try to get Scratch to catch him. And he ran out of time there. Okay, nothing happens when I catch him, and my timing isn't quite set up yet very well. Okay, so let's improve upon that. So now I'd like you to adjust it so that Scratch has to catch the ball and then it stops. And the ball also bounces off walls. So this is the code that you're going to do for that. Notice that the game continues. It keeps looping until Scratch catches the ball. So we're going to change that repeat 100 times. We're going to change that to a repeat until. And we're going to have it so that it repeats until it touches sprite number 1. Okay, and you notice that I've also added in this if on edge then bounce script. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to change the repeat loop. Let's get rid of this. I'm going to change the repeat loop so that it's a repeat until. This goes inside, and we're going to repeat until we are touching sprite number 1. And I'm actually going to show you how to change that name right away. And I'm also going to have if on edge bounce. In other words, if it reaches the edge, then it bounces instead of going off the screen. Okay, so this should work. Let's go see how this works here. Okay, you'll notice that the ball keeps bouncing, doesn't stop until Scratch goes and touches it, and it stops. And at that point there, we could do something else. I haven't got it in my slides, but we could certainly do something like Play a sound. Let's import a sound. Okay, that one will work. Just like that. Okay, so now our little game, the ball bounces back and forth, and when I get there, plays a sound. And you could add a score or whatever too as well. We'll get into that type of thing. Okay. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to save this program as base game 1, and you're going to need it for the next lesson. We're going to modify it. We're going to work on it a little bit in lesson number 2. However, you have a assignment here called Chase the Ball. This is Module 3, Lesson 1. So I'd like you to create a new sprite, replace Scratch the cat, 2 marks for that moves left, right, up, and down. I want it to face the correct way. If it goes left, it should face left. Up or down, your choice whether you want it to change the shape. It sort of depends on the actual character that you pick. A cat sort of looks funny facing up, but if it's like a Pac-Man kind of character, then you could have it facing up and down. I'd like you to create a second sprite that's more than a black ball. It has to be either a different sprite or a different shape or multicolored. Change it up somehow, please. I'd like you to get the ball moving in 2 dimensions, so not just left and right, but up and down as well. It must be moving as the player is chasing it. It should be moving on its own. It has to bounce off walls. I'd like you to include a background of some kind, and there's 4 marks as well for being creative, adding some other kind of thing. If you want to add some sound, whatever you prefer. There's 20 marks in total for this assignment. Okay, so this is the end of Module 3, Lesson 1. Go ahead and work on the Chase the Ball assignment.